What's going on, guys, and welcome back to our Survive in Java series. And yes, I did actually take the time to make a ridiculous outfit, because today we're going to be working over in the flower forest area in order to do a flower farm. Now, there's a reason why this video is going to be a week late compared to usual, and that main reason is because of these trapdoors, to be honest with you. I've been waiting for 4 days for them to fully oxidize, although I know I could have placed them in place already and just let them oxidize over time in the build, but I really didn't want the build to be very sort of mismatched while waiting for the trapdoors to oxidize. I wanted the full effect of how it's going to look once all the trapdoors are actually in place. So I need to go and pick all of these up. Oh, sorry dude, my bad. I need to pick all of these up and then take all of the resources that we've already set aside over there and head on over to the flower forest area in order to start this. Now, if you want to blame someone for the delay in the video, I would say bother Mac. He's actually on the server now as well. Go and bother him, because he's the one, me and him threw this design back and forth to each other over the course of around about a week, until I sort of landed on a design and concept I wanted, and he's the one who introduced these trapdoors. After I showed him a picture of me having laid all of them out, saying that it's going to take forever, he said, yeah, I would have just used warped trapdoors, and that thought didn't even cross my mind at that point. But we are going with the oxidized copper except mainly because it blends well with the oriental theme that I've gone for in the area, like the colours. Because I've gone for the dark prismarine roofing, I think having these trapdoors play a part in the sort of cosmetic side of things would be a good thing. I think it will go a lot better. I need to be really careful about breaking these trapdoors now, because I'm just going to tear through the floor underneath if I don't. What I'm going to do is carry on picking all of these up. Once I pick them all up and throw them in the boxes, I will meet you over at the flower forest area, because I need to pick a spot. The thing about this here, before I make this cut to the next section, oh crap, I spent ages with a copy test world to find the perfect spot to put this flower farm in order to get the most different range of flowers. So, but I don't know if that test world sort of, the way it works it out, because obviously when you use bone meal on a block and a flower grows on that block, only that flower can actually grow on that block using bone meal. I don't know why the game's programmed that way. I thought it would have been done more like RNG, but it's very, oh god damn it, another block. It's very sort of specific as to what flowers can grow on what block. So I've had to do a lot of testing in a test world in order to find the perfect spot to get the maximum amount of flowers from it. So I'm just hoping that that testing translates over to this actual world that's on the server, because it is a identical copy, so I'm hoping it does. I don't know how it's worked out or how it's generated, but I'm just hoping that otherwise all that testing's just gone to waste, to be honest with you. But we'll see once I got it in place, because I'm not even going to bother doing the testing to make sure that all the flowers do grow there. I'm just going to be sorely disappointed if they don't. So I will meet you over at the flower forest. Oh my god, I forgot just how annoying building around this thing was. It's already broken my sounds. As you can see, you can't really hear any of the shulker boxes opening and closing because of that stupid guardian noise. Even placing blocks. So what I think I'm going to have to do is go options, music, turn hostile creatures off. Just for now. That way I can actually hear stuff. So I've marked out the area. Now I do actually have to dig this down a fair chunk. So I think it's a good 12 or 15 layers I need to dig down. So I'm going to do the smart thing and actually set up a beacon. New. But we are also going to do the smart thing in setting our spawn point, because we know how that's gone badly for me in the past. So what we're going to do is jump into time lapse of me digging this area out, building this thing up, and then I will bring you back to show you how it all works. Obviously the core functionality, you're not going to be able to change up how flowers are grown, but there's just, and harvesting, there's There's very few ways. Like, you've got flying machines, you've got shifting floors, you've got water. There's a number of different ways to do harvesting, but ultimately they've all been done before. But it's the sort of way that everything's set up that is very unique to the way that this farm operates and the way that I wanted it to operate, and also the way that I wanted it to look. So yeah, I'll bring you back once I have put it all into place. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we can take it from there. So catch you back after the time lapse. Hopefully this time lapse actually works, unlike the last one, which the moss farm completely broke for me. But yeah, catch you back after the time lapse. Alright guys, so it has been a while. Now, this is around about, there's a lot that's changed over here since that time lapse, by the way. This is around about 4 or 5 weeks after that time lapse, and that is because I sort of got absolutely swamped with finishing off a couple of uni modules. So where I was usually doing around about 30 hours worth of uni work a week, it went up to like 70 to 80 hours a week that I was having to do in order to get some assignments, some projects, and then also revision for an exam that I actually had to partake in, which sucked. But we are now back to recording, and as you can see, quite a lot has changed. I've put a shell over the actual farm that you saw me build, and I'll give you a run through on how that works. We've got a new person on the server, Ep99, and he actually came over and he built a concrete maker over here. So one that actually makes the concrete by the looks of it. Like, you put in all of the raw materials, so sand, gravel. I'm assuming these are shulker unloaders by the looks of it. And it unloads them into these chests, and then you put a die into the one that you want to make. It then combines it and feeds it to you for you to then place, and then it pushes it down there to actually in the blast chamber. So it's an all-in-one sort of concrete maker, which is pretty awesome. Considering the amount of concrete that me and Mac had to make, like, just before I started recording that time lapse. For decorating the witch hut, it would have done a real good job for helping with that, but me and Mac had to use a couple of different sort of hybrid and quick fix-ups concrete blast chambers in order to get all the concrete made for that. But nevertheless, we have now got this one. Now, the actual farm itself, I actually had Mac sort of ping different designs back and forth with me until we landed on this one, and I'll give you the sort of run through on it. So underneath here we have got a place where you put in the bone blocks, and then we've got a dispersal system using hop and minecarts, which runs back and forth over here. They then go into these auto crafters, which have obviously got the continuous pulsing from observers, and then that turns it into bone meal. Then bone meal goes up onto all of these separate channels, and then up these pipes onto each different level. And then each level here, they actually get fed through up here into the dispensers, and then that goes to the actual different layers of our flower farm. Now, the flower farm itself is run off of 2 separate clocks. So we've got a system down here, which is a really overcomplicated way for doing such a very simple task, because I wanted it to have an auto shut off function. So as soon as these hoppers are filled with bone meal, as in no more bone meal can go to the dispenser because it's full, this will then actually send the signal down here to then activate or deactivate this section here, which will stop the signal from going round and activating our minecarts, because obviously we don't want it continuously making bone meal that's then just going to get wasted by sitting there and despawning. And then you've got the second clock function here, so we've got two different clocks. One is sends a signal up this tower here, and it activates this section, which then activates the pistons, like the washing feature, to wash all of the flowers down into the channel. And then the other clock is round here, which activates the pistons, like the shifting floor. And then with the observers facing up into the shifting floor, each time it shifts, it activates the dispenser to grow the flowers. You know how other normal flower farms work, just in a very overcomplicated way. Now, I found the perfect spot in this flower forest after multiple tests, like very long, in a test world, spawning different platforms in, bone milling them all to see what ones we can get. So we've got a mix of the, I think it's the plains as well as the flowers. So we've got the red tulips, orange, oh my god, orange, that's not a freaking word. Orange tulips, white tulips, the alliums, cornflowers, dandelions, poppies, azure bluets, and oxide daisies. Also getting a whole bunch of seeds, and I've left a bunch of free spots here just so we can then channel other flower farms to this area as well. And need be, we can probably extend the sorting system going that way and that way to house all the different flowers that we're able to get. And then what we can probably do after that is dig out an area underneath, because obviously we're pretty high up, so we've got loads of room down here, and we can carry on digging down. So that way we can like sort of stick in some auto crafters. May actually have some issues with all of these channels, but we can figure out a way by bringing the hopper chain back over to here and then drop it down into auto crafters. Okay, I don't know what that was about. Auto crafters to actually craft up the different dyes rather than having flowers, but obviously we want a whole lot of flowers just on stockpile for when we actually want to use them for decoration. Is there anything else that I need to tell you about regarding the actual farm design? This actual shell design, it was a combination of around about 5 different oriental themed buildings that I could find online. So we've got like the sort of banners hanging down just to add the sort of oriental touch that they tend to have regarding them. I may actually add some to that build as well, because the walls there look pretty plain. And then I used the quartz instead of the white concrete powder, just because I wanted a different bit of variation from building to building. I've got the dark oak sort of separating it and framing it out, which looks pretty good. I think I went overkill with the cherry blossoms in the pots, but yeah, on the outside here, so where you got the stairs actually lead up, you can actually look directly into the flower farm itself. And then on the sides, you can actually see the pipes actually come up, which I thought was pretty cool. So we've got that on that side, and we've got like a view of the pipes on this side as well, where the actual bone mill goes up. And then it sort of just fits the area. Now I do need to work on like some pathways in between the buildings, as well as a pathway that leads behind the building, because we've also got our firework factory, which is down in that corridor there. So Ep99 did actually have a bunch of the cherry blossom trees that he planted out here for decoration. I have taken them down temporarily, mainly because I'm not a fan of the natural generation of the blossom trees. So what I will be doing is doing some custom blossom trees, mixing in pink and white glass panes as well as the blossom leaves themselves, and maybe some of the pink terracotta and maybe pink concrete, just to sort of mix up the texture, the variation, and it will just look a lot nicer, rather than, because I think these trees, they just look really freaking blocky. Like, I love the sort of petal effect that drops from underneath them, but their natural generation, yeah, I'm not a fan of. It just looks really blocky and uninspired. It's just, yeah, it's meh is the best way. I like the blossom tree that we've got over near our main base, which I can actually show you after I show you this farm actually working. So if we head on over to here, view the downwards, yes you are. So in order to start it, there is a couple of buttons here in order to first start it. And let's grab some bone meal. So let's do this, well, bone block shall we say. And then the hopper minecarts are just going to chew them up, which is good. Let's do that. like so. And like so. Might as well just throw all of these in, that way I've got a couple of free shulkers to take back. Okay, and then if we start these guys off, they should then start feeding the bone meal into here. And as you can see, it will spit out like 9 bits of bone meal each time going up. And then what happens is that it goes up into these hoppers. Thank you. And then as soon as these hoppers start getting filled in, it will send a signal to this. It needs to be completely filled on this hopper here before this gets activated and actually shuts off the system. And then we've got a lever just over there which will activate the actual flower farm itself. So let's just let the bone meal sort of feed through for a second, because it is like getting 9 bone meal per each cycle of these hopper minecarts. It should be fine to run. The only thing I'm worried about is that we are probably going to be getting a lot more flowers than these hopper filters are actually able to pick up. God, I always forget how loud this freaking thing is. So yeah, as you can see, they are coming in like a lot quicker than they can actually all be picked up. So we're going to end up with some excess here. So what I may actually do is figure out a way of doubling up and have like just a tiny mini water elevator here, and then it can take it back up and put it into this stream, which shouldn't actually be too difficult to do. If I just extend these blocks, put a soul sand block here and a couple source blocks of water, that should sort of fix that problem. That way they will sort of cycle, go round and round, and we won't get nearly as much wastage. Yeah, that might actually be an idea. So what I'm going to do is shut this off, quickly implement that, and then after I have implemented that, I should actually have all the bits and pieces just up top in order to do it. Once I've implemented that, then I'll bring you back. Alright, I think I've got that implemented now. So yeah, it's literally just, I've run the water into a soul sand, like mini soul sand elevator, which will then shoot the items back in there to do the cycle again. That way we don't end up with nearly as much wastage. I do apologise if you can hear the dog going nuts in the background, and I apologise for this noise. Did they actually stop running there for a second then? Oh yeah, look, because it is actually getting filled. So I did actually try it off momentarily then. But yeah, as you can see now, as they're going round, we're then getting the seeds and whatnot being recycled. So we're going to have a constant circle of them going round rather than them sort of being left just to despawn. But if we have the farm running for ages, I've got a feeling that it may overrun eventually to the point where we just have too many flowers. But the good thing is, like, the flowers that we do get coming in, the ones that we really want to keep, they will just be constantly coming in. Good. Alliums, good. Cornflowers I need to filter to sort of build up before that actually goes into there. Can we pick you up yet? No, we need to actually empty our pockets a little bit. Oh, let's do one of them. Seeds are being inundated on this thing. I may actually have to set up like an auto composter system to recycle the bone meal back into the water stream somehow. You. Alliums. No cornflowers on us yet. Dandelions. We get loads of these stupid azure bluet things. I think they spawn on like every single layer. The cornflowers are not that common, which is unfortunate because blue dye is like one of the ones that we probably want most. So that one is mainly red. I do apologise for the noise that this thing creates. It's mainly red and orange. I don't know what layer the cornflowers are on. Alliums. Did the top layer? Mainly alliums, azure bluets, some poppies. Oh, there's a cornflower. Yeah, so they do definitely spawn, it's just very, very rare. How's our system handling? It's the seeds that I think are going to be overflowing way too much on it. Like the flowers, I think on the second cycle as they go around would more than likely be picked up. But there's some of them which is going to probably be the red tulips, azure bluets and seeds that are just going to be coming in way too much in order for the system to keep up. But nevertheless, we've got a flower farm now that's creating all of these different types. Well, I really want cornflower, like a lot more cornflower being produced, but in order to get all of these, this was like one of the only places to get this many sort of flowers spawning, and it took me so long to find this location as well, which was a little bit annoying. So let me pack up our stuff and head back to base so we can spin the board to see what we're going to land on, and I can also show you the whatchamacallit, what do you call it, the blossom tree, the custom blossom tree is what I wanted to show you. Can we sort out our pockets so we can start unpacking all of this crap? Yeah, I'll catch you back at base. Alright, so back at base, picked up all of the random crap and I need to throw it into our sorter. But this is the custom tree that I also added the blossom tree leaves to. Now, the ones that I want to design are going to have a lot more of the blossom leaves than it is going to have glass, because I've done the glass one before the blossom trees were even added to the game. And we're probably still going to use the blossom tree wood rather than using the acacia like we did here, but we are going to have a more custom sort of ones, sort of like this, dotted around that farm, the flower farm area, just because I'm not a fan of the natural generation of the other ones. Also, I've not been here for a while. Hey, in memoriam. And yeah, Clowd built that ages ago. Completely forgot about it. Let's head on down there. That was 3 years ago as well that he built that. It's crazy long. So we want to quickly, first of all, do that. Let's get an ender pearl. Go up here. Get one of our bots on. That's bots, not butts, by the way. Let's leave spawn. Just so the items can feed through safely. All of that, and all of that. And then we take out all of our other stuff. Now, while we spin the wheel to see what our next project's going to be, I can give you some information of other things that I want to be doing. So, as usual, along the corridor up the stairs, we're just going to see where it lands. Wow, straight away on 8, that is ridiculous. So we're somewhere along this line here, which is fine. Come on, cookie machine. So I am now actually off from doing any uni work whatsoever for around about 4 months. My next course doesn't start until October, which means I'm going to have a lot more free time in order to play games, record and do other bits and pieces that I want to actually do. So I will be starting another modded series soon, and that is more than likely going to be with Clowd joining me on a modded adventure. We're going to get a server up and play through a mod pack. More than likely going to be a fabric mod pack, because the last one we've done, which was Old Mods 9, that was a Forge one, and fabric obviously has quite a lot of the same mods, but it obviously has different variations and also alternative mods that I would never have played with. And the mod pack that we're sort of leaning towards at the moment is going to be more RPG and adventure based than it is going to be sort of progressing through technology based. There is still a lot of tech mods in the mod pack that we're looking at, but there's a ton of adventure style mods, so we can go out, explore, loot different dimensions and whatnot, and your sort of character goes up different skill trees, so you can specialize in ranged or close combat. There's new combat sort of mechanics, roll mechanics, parry mechanics, so it does look pretty cool. And it's a mod pack that I've not actually played around with before. I did have a quick browse through the mods in there, and there's a fair few that I've never even heard of that do look pretty cool. So that should be interesting. That's one thing that I'm going to be doing. Another thing is I'm looking at different games. Like, I do play other games on the side that obviously I don't do any recording of. Main ones are usually strategy based, but there is one, RimWorld, which I think could be fun to do a series on. The only thing about it is that it's hard to determine what points are worth recording unless I record it all and edit it after playing, because you can easily put 8 or 9 hours into a play session on RimWorld and not actually have like more than maybe an hour or two's worth of like footage worthy of viewing to sort of explain the story as to what's going on. So I'm sort of contemplating doing one of them sort of series. By the way, there's a couple of farms on this one that I don't really know what I would do with. We've got the Fallout area project on that section. We've got the Ancient City project on that section, Cookie Farm and Zoo project. And old Rabbit Foot Farm as well is one that we also need to do. I did also make another wall as well. Like, why this thing's spinning, I can actually show. I don't know if I showed you this or not, but I made another wall over here, which is literally just an adventure wall. So if Sai or Clowd or Mac or Ep99 actually wants to join me and go on like an adventure to doing something, like we've got End City raiding, Heart hunting, only maces as a weapon, Bastion raiding. One of the negative mod files is that you have to do whatever the thing is on a pig. Trials, medium. Oh yeah, we've got different stages of it being like hard, medium and extreme. We actually done an extreme trials hard before, and I do believe Clowd actually put a video up here where we actually had to do one of the cursed trial chambers, and we was only allowed stone swords and leather armor, and we, like me, Clowd and Sai, died repeatedly during that quest. So that was a fun staring contest with an Enderman. I don't know what that one's about. Ancient City hard mode, no elytra. Mineshaft exploration trials extreme is the one that we ended up. Yeah, that's the one that is actually still on. And then we've got only lava buckets as weapons, mansion hard mode, never adventure without wings, only crossbows as weapons. So yeah, all of them lot are just basically adventure based, but hopefully this thing's actually landed on something. We're on 2. Oh no, I was reading it the wrong way. It's down here. Damn it! Rabbit Foot Farm. I thought it was the Cookie Farm. I got so happy then. Yeah, it's 8 and 2. We're doing a Rabbit Foot Farm, which on ow. I have no idea how to actually do. Oh my god, I'm going to kill myself. And I haven't even got totem on me. So, we've got the flower farm. And what we can actually do... Have we got 2 high flower farm on the board or not? Put you into there. Let's actually see, because I know that we need the 2 high flower farms. There's a lot of flower farms that we actually need. So we've got one here. Oh yeah, so we have got flower farm. I think this one was meant to be the 2 high. That's just another flower farm. But what we can do is put this one in place of there. So that way, if it lands on that one, then we could set up a 2 high module flower farm to feed into our existing flower farms over there, which would be a very easy and relatively simple project, but also one that we do need. So I will keep that one on the board. We also need to fill that spot with something. What have we got in here? We got loads of the apocalypse areas from where we removed the witch hut ones. I'll probably think of another project. I know that we are probably going to be getting the update as well. Now, because we obviously didn't update on the last update, that added the, the leaf piles and just the sort of cosmetic type things. When we update to get the friendly ghasts, I know that we're going to have obviously 2 different updates worth of content, which is pretty cool, which I much prefer. It's sort of like we're making the game drops more significant when we do update, and it's a lot less work for me, to be honest with you. But nevertheless, hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully it wasn't too weird of a break of me coming back and like 5 weeks after recording the beginning of an episode. I don't know why I've done that. Usually I would finish an episode off, but I just got so unexpectedly swamped with work that I had to do, and it was just a chore. But we are back, and we are going to be releasing the vanilla videos once a week. Hopefully starting next week as well, we'll be starting modded episodes at least once or maybe twice a week, depending how much we play it. And then, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.